All right, everyone, I'm having massive computer problems today. Hope everyone's having a good day. We're going to try to fix this. I'm out of focus. I don't know what's going on here. I got people waiting. I got special guests. I got super chats. I got everything going on here, but the price of admission. Let's see if I can't get this to focus. Let's see. Oh, I can't get this to focus. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring in a guest while I'm trying to get my camera to work. Because I'm not even on the microphone now. There we go. Here we go. Oh, we got the foreground. Oh my God! All right, we're gonna add the we're gonna add the Dahmer already, and we're gonna add the Dahmer again. Oh, jeez, and my chair's all fucked up. We got Big Don already. We got Pimp Name Slickback already dropping in the super chat. We got Zach saying late, and Pimp Name Slickback says, according to the NFL Network, Joe Shane yesterday visited the game with 4 other potential first-rounder quarterbacks this year. The cult has lost their collective mind. First of all, how's it going, Don?
Yeah, good. I preferred it when you're out of focus, but I'll look at you now. It's all right.
How's it going in the Hobbit hole?
Can you hear me all right?
Where the hell are you?
Me? I'm at home.
Dumb.
Hang on.
I keep losing. Did the gerbil die?
No,
Is this the
no
problem we're having? I gotta fix it.
I think it might be you.
You got it. No, this time it's not me. You were freezing. We got Zach Attack in the room. We got Big Old Tom. We got Mr. McCormick going on here. We got Chris saying, "Good morning, everyone." Pimp Name Slickback. Timmy, you're going in and out. Yeah, I didn't have my microphone up to my face. I didn't have the microphone. So now we're good now. We're good now. I got it. I got it now. I got everything fixed now. I think Zach Attack says Tim is late. So Dom. Football, Giants, Sunday night, 8:20. With the 5-hour time difference, that means it's 17,100 hours on your end. I know you're not staying up to watch it.
No, 1:20 a.m. kickoff.
1:20 a.m. kickoff. It says my YouTube is freezing. Let me switch my networks. All right, how's that? Do we pop back on? Dom,
I can hear you. Yep.
Audio is ahead of the visual. Yeah, I just restarted everything. The audio ahead of the visual is actually not my fault. That's YouTube.
Yeah, you are very delayed on my screen, but I can hear you loud and clear. But no, 1:20 a.m. kickoff from my.
It's a 1:20 a.m. kickoff. The Dahmer time. Tyrod Taylor starting this game. Good, bad, indifferent. What's your thought process on this, Dom?
I mean, look, Tyrod Taylor isn't going to win you that many games, but we're not winning that many games either. I mean, there are holes all over the place. It's not just about the quarterback, but at this point, why not, right? And I think from a Daniel Jones point of view, if he's hurt that neck like he did a couple of years back,
you got an injury.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, but even if he wasn't, why not, right? I mean, we're not playing that great. I mean, look, Tyrod's not winning games, but from a Daniel Jones personal perspective, I think him sitting with this injury has definitely got to be the right thing for him because, a neck injury is very serious and he needs to make sure that's right before he plays again for, any kind of physical game. But yeah, I can't see us winning with Daniel or Tyrod, if I'm honest, but, Tyrod's got a brain, right, and that might just help us mix it up a little bit. Everyone knows what we're doing when Daniel's under center. Maybe Tyrod offers a bit of surprise, but I think that's clutching at straws, possibly.
I just like the fact that Tyrod has a brain,
a football brain. Obviously.
So you're saying Daniel Jones doesn't have a brain?
I'm saying he doesn't have a football brain.
Okay, all right. I'm just double checking. I'm just double checking to make sure
He's
that's
a smart
what you're
guy.
saying.
He's a smart guy. He is a very smart guy, Daniel Jones, but not on the field.
Yeah. Not on the field. The Giants have a plethora of injuries today. You have a lot of your starting offensive linemen out. You have Azeez Ojulari, who stayed out with a hamstring and has a dental problem. You just have a lot of injury issues coming. This is one of those games that if you are a handicapper, you look at it and go, there's no way in hell they're going to win. Do you give the Giants any shot, Dahmer?
I mean, there's always a shot. It's why you play the games, but I mean, it's a long shot, right? I mean, it's single-digit percentages, isn't it? Really, let's be honest, of a chance of winning. But injuries are part of games. It's why, you know, there was a lot of talk preseason. We could go, you know, deep into the playoffs. I mean, not from, you know, a lot of fans, but from a very vocal minority. And you're thinking the depth isn't there. You're going to need the depth, and the starting isn't there either. But yeah, I mean, even with a fully fit side, I wouldn't fancy against the Bills, who have their own injuries, of course, particularly on the defensive side. But I don't see us with our offense unlocking even a second string Buffalo defense right now.
I love this. It's a shot in hell.
It's a snowflake chance in hell, I think.
That doesn't sound good. We also have Zach Tech bringing in going that let's see. Saquon is optimistic to play tonight. Do you think Saquon playing is you have a divisional game next week against Washington, against the Commandos at home? If you lose tonight, you're 1-5. Do you risk playing Saquon because of the fact that you're trying to maybe potentially sneak in a win? Or do you just sit Saquon another week? Because you've already sitting Andrew Thomas, you're Evan Neal's questionable. You got all these problems. Do you sit another week and go, hey, you know, what's going on?
I think it will depend on the medical stuff with Saquon. I mean, if he's fully fit and amongst us any player is at this time of the season, because no one's ever 100% fit, but then yeah, you do. But I think if there's any doubt, I sit him this week and try and beat the Commanders next week, because I think even with Saquon, I think it lessens the odds that you're going to be defeated. But I think the chances are you're being defeated right now against Buffalo, and they're going to be hurting after last week. Let's be honest.
I'm switching networks here. Hold on, guys. Let's see if that's any better. I had to switch networks and see if I can't get any a little bit more speed. I don't know what's going on with my internet today. My internet's usually cruising here, and I don't know what's going on. I have no internet stability today. That's what happens when you live in the middle of nowhere, Dom. Breaking news, Zach Attack says James Williams will be on the field for the Giants as a PS evaluation. He's going to be practice squad evaluated. James Williams is. And I'm still freezing. I don't know what the hell's going on, guys. I do not know what the hell's going on. My internet is all types of screwed up today. We have internet connectivity problems today, Dahmer.
I can tell. Yeah, you're very fuzzy.
Yeah, I'm actually. Shut up. Shut up. Nobody likes you. Remember that. Nobody likes you.
You might need to be fuzzy to get through the game later.
Well, I'm saying the Giants are going to win. Here we go. 29 seconds. My latency is finally going down. Let's see here. I might have to switch. Let's see here. Yeah. It's not Mint Mobile. Dom sent me a text asking me if my internet issues is being caused. No problem on my end. Try rebooting. I already tried rebooting. Tim, try to turn off your camera and turn it back on again. No, it's not the camera. It's my internet speed. I usually run about 300 megs, and right now I'm running 20. So for some reason, I'm not getting any connectivity on my internet right now. And I'm waiting for my secondary network to reboot. Here, Dom, entertain everyone for a second. I'm going to go reboot my network. Hold on.
He's wonkered himself. It's normally me that gets wonkered. Oh, dear me. Right, let's have a quick look through these. Bobby, probably come back to you, but you have done your $2 super chat. So let me come to that one. I can't put it on screen, I'm afraid, because he's got the controls. But yeah, so the comment says Shane talked with Caleb on the sidelines yesterday. I mean, I'm not surprised to see us scouting quarterback prospects. I think we'd be doing that anyway, even if we had less doubts about our starter. But, you know, I think good to see us getting out there, having a look. And sorry, just seen James's comment there. You know, good to see. But for me, it's too early to start looking at who we're going to draft because we don't know where we're going to be, and we've still got the games to, I say, enjoy, get through maybe, but we will see. We will see. James says that Giants are messing with Tim's internet because you haven't been nice and kind. We all know this is a new, kinder, gentler Tim. But there you go. There we go. Gav, I think it's a good question. Everyone well, not question, comment really, isn't it? But Gareth says everyone talking like Washington is going to be a walkover for us. I mean, it's not going to be a walkover. Definitely not. And I don't think any sensible fans will say it's a walkover. I think you've got a shot at winning that game. You know, a genuine shot at winning that game. I don't think Washington are brilliant, but you know, Buffalo are a level above. Tim's back. It looks like the Giants have stopped messing with your internet, according to James.
Let's see if that worked any here. If not, let's see here. Let's see if I can wave. I'm waving to myself. Oh, I look faster.
Yeah,
I look faster.
Maybe you could try this when you run the 40.
I look as fast as Eric Gray out of the backfield. What were you babbling about?
I did Bob Super Chat while I was there, and
Bob. Thank you, Bob.
And Gareth as well.
Giants talked to Caleb on the sideline yesterday. Maybe that's why he sucked, because Joe Judge was in the house. Maybe Joe Judge isn't the quarterback whisperer. Maybe he's
Joe Judge.
Joe Judge.
He's living rent free in your head, isn't he?
I got Joe Judge on my mind. Oh, it's been a long day, Dom. Lot better, Tim.
It's 10:15.
The Hobbits have fixed it. Lot better. The ninjas are. I killed the ninjas, and I used the wisdom and knowledge of General Admiral Akbar to fix everything. I'm not touching anything. Dom, how do you feel about Bobby Johnson, the offensive line coach?
Never met him.
How do you feel about what he's done in reference to the Giants staff? If I want a smart ass, I'll just get Rob. No, that's more of a dumbass.
I mean, you know, I'm not sure I'm raising the bar, but look.
No, you're definitely not raising the bar.
No, I've already cost you at least 20 subscribers. I mean, it's the same with any of these. I think, you know, you were saying it earlier in the week. You can say the same against the defensive line coach, the linebackers coach, the running back coach, you name it, right? We're not doing well across the field. I don't think there's any real unit that is holding up and going, do you know what? We're playing at the standard. So Bobby Johnson is obviously a clear sort of scapegoat, and it's what we've done for the last few years. Now, I'm not saying that means he needs to keep his job or go either way. I don't really know. I think, you know, right now this line should be playing better in a couple of positions, right guard, given where we drafted Evan Neal. You know, Schmitz, I think going forward will be fine, but you know, he's in game, 5-6. We'll see. I think it all depends on what the coaching staff is seeing on the field, which we don't in practice field, which we don't see. So I'm not going to be jumping on the bandwagon of saying he's got to go or anything like that. But that line does need to get better. But it's a talent thing as well. The guards are poor. That could be affecting both your centers and your talent. And we'll see. But there's issues all across the field.
Don't talk about it's just logic. Don't talk about logic. Garth had a great question, and I wanted to get back to it. Everyone's talking about Washington's going to be a walkover for us. Washington's got a pretty good defense. Washington's got some skill players. I got to admit, I potentially could have been wrong about Sam Howell. Sam Howell kind of looks like a player. Kind of looks like a quarterback. And I don't know.
I didn't realize we knew what that looked like anymore. It's been so long.
Haven't seen it. Even Diaghost is saying Sam Howell is better than Daniel Jones. He's looked better. He has looked better. Justin Fields. Everyone's talking about the Bears taking a quarterback. Justin Fields is thrown for 8 touchdowns in 2 games. He should be 2-0. His defense cost him the last game against was it against Carolina? But the defense cost him. No, not Carolina. I can't remember who it was against. But the defense cost him that last game. I mean, so
the thing with Fields is he's not getting the wins right now. And yes, quarterbacks and all players will be judged on wins, but his stats are not bad considering their record. I'd take him over DJ right now.
He had one bad game, Fields, out of the 4 or the 5. He's had one bad game.
I'm a big Justin Fields fan, to be honest. I really am. I always have been.
We talked about Justin Fields. Don't forget the like button, because if you don't hit the like button, Dom's going to talk some more. So I'm looking at the schedule. If we go, okay, getting back to my Saquon Barkley question. You're 1-4. You lose tonight, you go 1-5. You got a divisional game. You're already 0-1 in the division. You're playing Washington at home. Is the mindset should be this: you lose tonight, your odds of making the playoffs are pretty much out the window. So playing Saquon Barkley may not seem like a bad thing. But then again, you think about it, you lose tonight. People point, I love it because people point to Detroit last year, how they started 1-6 and they just blew. They had a bad schedule last year too, like the Giants did. So I wasn't that impressed. I'm more impressed with Detroit this year. But do you take the opportunity, take the chance to run out Saquon Barkley on Sunday Night Football and try for the Denver Broncos? Thank you, James. Try for the grace of God to get a win? Or do you save him for a potential win for a 2, so you could be 2-5 next Sunday?
I mean, to take the 2-1. I mean, I don't know if you could hear me early because of the internet, but I think tonight I don't think we're going to win with Saquon Barkley. So I think it all depends on how fit he is and what the medical staff say. I think if there's a risk to Saquon reoccurring his injury tonight, you sit him, because I don't think you're winning with him, and you hope to get him back next week when there is a chance you can win. Gareth here is absolutely spot on. It's not a walkover like people think it is, but it is a game you could potentially win. And I say potentially. Pre-season, I'd have said that's going to be a win for us, but it's not necessarily that anymore. But Saquon, you want him fit for next week. If you give me the choice of risking Saquon not being fit for next week by playing him this week, then I don't do it. But if you're sure that his injury is not going to flare up as a result of playing today, then yeah, why not get him some match fitness?
I'm going to run through some of these, Dom. It says a lot better, Tim. The Hobbits have fixed the internet. It wasn't the Hobbits. It was my precious. I took the ring away from him, so everything's fine now. That's the only thing I know about that movie. How does it? I love this. Mike Lee says it's the Oompa Loompas. I was going to ask Dom earlier what his feelings were about the Oompa Loompas, being an Oompa Loompa himself. Joe Rev says, "Good morning, fellas. Great to see you, Dom." Diego Sam Howell definitely looks better than Daniel Jones. Garth says, and the Washington pass rush isn't shabby either. No, Washington's got some players. And I'd like to see James Williams says every quarterback looks better than James Williams. Mike Lee said this is because Sam Howell is not from Duke. We got the cult of personality in the house with me, Gigante, saying, "What's up, guys? The cult is here." Dom getting the band back together. It was getting the band back together. And I hadn't had Dom in a while, so I wanted to make sure that I had Dom on today. And I love it because I was texting Dom yesterday, and I invited Dom on. And Dom said something after I invited him on. He said,
I said something nice, which was a mistake.
What was my reply to you?
Shut up.
That's all. That was the text I sent back. It doesn't pay. I tell people it doesn't pay to be my friend.
But to cramp your style and to destroy that reputation you've so carefully built up, you actually, because I didn't see it, you then sent me something nice about 30 minutes later in case you thought I'd upset you or something, but I just hadn't seen the message and I hadn't actually answered it.
It doesn't pay to be friends with me. Chris says, no way we walk over Washington. Come on, we couldn't even walk over a college team right now. I think we could. James Williams got a good question. Why didn't the league flex this game, Don? I mean, are they trying to go with the game plan of this is Daboll and return to Buffalo and the coach of the year?
It can only be the story, right? The links between the two. Because
honestly, if you look at this, our defense, who's allegedly the strength of this team, if you look at our speed on defense, Isaiah Simmons is supposed to be fast. Xavier McKinney is supposed to be fast. We have all these fast guys. Miami made us look like we were standing still on defense, and I'm still upset with Xavier McKinney dogging on that run play. That still pisses me the fuck off. He
especially when you're losing so bad, right?
Like 30 yards from the end zone, he lets up.
Yeah.
What if he fumbles? What if he does the Daniel Jones folly and trips? You're 30. You gotta let him go like 15 to 20 yards ahead of you because you gave up. You quit.
And particularly when your team's losing. I mean, it's easy to keep going when you're winning. I know it's much easier, but when your team's losing, you need to give your fans something. they're gonna get on your back more when you're losing by doing something daft like that. And it was daft. Like, he's fit enough to run the extra 30 yards, even if it's a forlorn hope, right? That was daft. But yeah, they did look slow, but then Miami are bloody quick.
They were fast, and Buffalo is not they're not fleet of foot.
No, I tell you what though, our defense last week did look like your internet 10 minutes ago.
As slow as shit. Diego says, "Now rest Saquon when he's healthy, so you can trade him." Do you trade if you go 1-5? And I'm not saying when we go 1-5, because I am a person that is full of optimism. This is the kinder, gentler Tim. When you go 1-5, I mean, if you go 1-5, sorry, that did that on purpose. Do you trade Saquon? Do you start looking at this team and say, "Hey, listen," and this was a good question yesterday. I'm going to ask you the same question. First of all, do you trade Saquon if you go 1-5?
You do that, you're giving up in your season, right? I mean, but the season's pretty
1-5.
1-5, exactly.
You only have maybe two games you should win.
But what I'm saying is you're signaling to the league and to the players you're giving up on the season. So I think that needs to be factored in. And then I think it depends on what offer you get. But I think you're looking at offers. I can't see Saquon.
What if you get a 2-5?
Even then, I mean, I don't see the playoffs. I didn't see the playoff preseason. I don't see it now. Definitely not.
Answer the question. What if you see a 2-5?
For Saquon?
Yeah, second round and a fifth rounder.
Yeah, I'd probably take that because I don't see him. I don't see him. I don't
think you're getting a McCaffrey haul.
No. I mean, look, he's a very good player. That is, on ability, that's a poor trade. But he's a player that has. He's on the tag. After the shenanigans over the summer, I think it's going to be harder to retain him. And I think he'll be looking at this team going, well, next year's done as well. So I think he's going to be, hard to re-sign anyway. So I think you probably take the 2-5 and admit that you're just going to have to, rebuild.
Now my next question is this. This was a good question. That's why I bring it up. If you trade Saquon Barkley, does that signal that you're not taking a quarterback next year if you finish in the top 3, because of the fact that if you are going to take a quarterback that early, wouldn't the presence of a Saquon Barkley benefit your rookie quarterback greatly?
It would, of course.
Because you're probably gonna get if you tag Barkley again, it's gonna be like 12 million. So I mean, it's not like you're gonna break the bank.
I mean, there's no question that a rookie quarterback is helped out by Saquon Barkley being in the team, but there's no reason why potentially you don't bring him in, play him towards the back end of the season, and then look to get pieces around him for the following year. You don't have to play your drafted quarterback. I think I would, given where Daniel Jones is at. But there are quarterbacks that have come in without a lot around them and shown that they can play. And really, you want to see what your quarterback can do when they're not necessarily surrounded by, can they handle adversity? So I don't think it's a detriment. I don't think I don't think it stops you drafting one. Of course, it makes it harder for them, but I don't think it's imperative. And you can use those picks to, try and boost your team. But
this is I'm not going to stop you, but I'm going to stop you. This is a good question. If the Giants get a win streak with Tyrann Tommy DeVito killed the radio star, that would be a major indictment on Daniel Jones. Of course that would. But I did bring something up to James Williams earlier today, and I thought this was an interesting fact, Dom. If Tyrod Taylor, for the sake of argument, wins today, it will be the first win for an African-American quarterback in New York Giants history. And it would be the first, and it would be the last team in the division to have an African-American quarterback win a game.
I mean, we've discussed this before, so we've discussed this before, so probably not the basis for this stream, but it's 2023, and this is our second African-American quarterback to start a game for the New York Giants. And it's not like Geno Smith played that many times. Right. It's I thought it was twice, but I'm gonna trust you on that over me. But
it's funny.
It's mental to me.
It's funny though. Geno Smith has more wins in MetLife than Daniel Jones does this year.
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy.
Did anyone riddle them that Batman?
Is he off to Arkham again?
I forgot the Batman sound effect. Riddle me that, Batman. Let's see. Let's go through some of these comments. Where's Zach? Where's Zach? I saw Zach a comment. Oh, I got Zach's comment. Guilty says, you keep Saquon and any other Giants off the field until the fire sale. James says, Whitefick is going to have 4 touchdowns, 330 yards passing, 60 yards rushing, and touching against us tonight. That would be, we got Frankie. The sounds of Sinatra. Hey, Tim, how are the toy guys? Toy guys are good. Good. I talked about a toy I got the other day. It's not a toy. It was a collectible.
And there's a big difference, right?
Listen, I'm going to say this real quick, and I'm going to get back to the Giants. When you grow up and you don't have a lot of stuff, and you cherish the stuff you have, but then as you get older and you have money and you could buy the stuff you didn't have as a kid, there is this magnet that draws you to it. And said, oh my God, I never had that as a kid. I was playing Sega Genesis 32X yesterday with my son on the basement floor, and I had that. This was mine from when I was a kid, and it's been in that box for like 30 years because I keep everything. When I was a kid, I kept everything in a box because you never know when you were going to get something else. And we were sitting there playing this, and I was shocked, stunned to the fact that this fucking thing turned on. It's like it's been in this box for 30 years, if not longer. Let's see. Mike Lee says the storyline: Tyrod Taylor, Dave's returning to Buffalo. If Tyrod wasn't starting, I think they wouldn't have had flexed the game. Here's the problem with that, Mike Lee. We didn't know Tyrod was going to start till Friday, so they weren't going to be able to flex. They would have had to have flexed the game earlier in the week. They couldn't have flexed the game, on Friday. So that's or Leon Lett. That's the Leon Lett we were talking about when we were running the pass back. Do we got to talk with Zoe? Having a strong feeling Saquon might be traded after this game. I personally think you have to. I personally think you got to trade Leo. Maybe we can get some Cocoa Crisps or something for him. I don't know.
You're not getting with, yeah. I thought he was going to have a better season this year because his contract's due.
I think it's funny the movie Moneyball, which I've actually seen, not like Draft.
The other one that we've never seen, but
not like Draft Day. The movie Moneyball. There's a scene in Moneyball where Billy Beane is making a trade, and one of the conditions of a trade is they stock the vending machine
with soda.
In the Oakland College. And I keep thinking about that with Leonard Williams. It's like, well, we'll give you Leonard. And I love it because we had some people on the stream yesterday that said, well, Leonard Williams is playing well. And all the runs for the Giants are to the outside. And Zach Attack pointed out, and I love it, and I thought it was great, because Zach Attack pointed out, goes, well, as a defensive lineman, you're also taught that if you could go to the outside to, you push everything to the outside, so you make the tackle, but you still, as a defensive lineman, have to go to the outside and try to make a tackle. And I pointed out the fact that Leonard Williams has more assists than he does actual physical tackles, which tells me he's not leaning the point of attack. So I would get rid of
King of the Almost Sack.
And then the question is, if we get rid of King of the Almost Sack, do I have to retire the sound effect?
I'm sure you can find someone else.
I want to ask you one thing, and I want to get back to the comments. I like reading the comments today. Somebody posted, and I'm not going to say who it was, Bad Dog, that Kayvon Thibodeau had 4 sacks and Micah Parsons had 4 sacks. And he's like, well, what are we talking about here? They both have 4 sacks. And I keep thinking to myself, if someone said if you could have Thibodeau or Parsons, who would you take?
I mean, Parsons is a better player, right? He's a defensive stud, and we need the linebacker so badly. So I'd definitely taken Parsons. Look, Thibodeau has 4 sacks, but 2 of them the player ran into him. But
well, two of them a player ran into him. The third one,
Hear ye, come one, come all, for it's the king of the covered sack.
So just thank God this is the kinder, gentler Tim.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Thibodeau can't be a player, right? It's still early in his career, all things being equal, and the whole side is playing awfully at the moment. That can't be helping you when you're when you're still a relative novice to the NFL. But yeah, we need to see more from him.
But he was getting 17 sacks last year.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we need to see more from him. But I'm not saying he's a bust just because I'm saying I'd definitely take Parsons, and Parsons is playing much better this year.
Frankie says, does Barkley really want to play or risk injury on a 1-5 team without a contract? Well, I don't think he's got really a choice. If Barkley this is a good question by Zach. Barkley is the face of the franchise. Who do you replace him with as that?
Me?
Stupid is stupid does, Mrs. Blue. Who do you replace him with? Who do you replace him with?
I mean,
Tommy DeVito?
I keep wanting to call him Danny.
I know. So who does
Andrew Thomas? Andrew Thomas is the best player on this side, but a left tackle is not often the face of the franchise, right?
You know what they need to do is they need to take a picture. The NFL needs to take a picture of when they have the pictures of game day. You have the one quarterback on one side and you have the and the other quarterback on the other side for the team. Yeah. They need to take a picture of Andrew Thomas in his stance and just take it from his backside and just show that. So you'll have Josh Allen and then Andrew Thomas's ass. Come on. That is marketing genius.
Daniel Jones still couldn't hit it from 5 yards.
Daryl says, Saquon is my favorite player, and I think we need to trade him to get assets to move up if we target our best quarterback available. Everyone's, and I think it's interesting that, Dom, you don't really follow college football much because you don't really get a lot of it. We get a lot of it here in the States, and I was watching a lot of it yesterday, and I watched all the quarterbacks, and Caleb Williams threw 3 first-half interceptions against Notre Dame, and he was pressured all game long. And I went on Twitter, and the glee of the Daniel Jones Panty Boys that he had a bad game was astounding. And it's like even Lawrence Tynes got into it with a picture of Homer Simpson disappearing when he's talking about how the Giant fans who wanted Caleb Williams have just disappeared off Twitter. And I laughed because I was like, you are hoping that a kid in college has a terrible game so you could feel better about your 5th-year starter. Does that just tell everything that it's just crazy? I mean, that we've reached that logic. Rob, you're wearing the hat again. I'm not going to put you on until you take the hat off. You've had that hat on for a month. It's time. It's laundry day. It's laundry day in the UK.
I washed it.
You washed it with what? You went outside in the fucking rain?
You don't want to fucking know what I washed it with.
Just until he learns. We got R0B. We got the Dahmer all the way from the UK. I got another.
The CEO of Poppycockers is in the building.
We got.
Hey, listen, I want to thank you.
CEO, you name it.
I want to thank you for taking time.
You know what? Everyone, we're going to have to interrupt Rob because there's only one place to go in this world. If you are looking to get your poppycock, of course it is Poppycockers. It's 2-for-1 troll night. So just remember, make sure you drop out of poppycock because there's no better place to be to go and get your poppycocks.
I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule of interviewing dancers and entertainment and getting new drink licenses. And so I heard you're getting a new chef in, for some gourmet food. So thank you for taking the time to come and talk some Giants football with us. I know you're busy over there.
The funny thing is I actually genuinely have an alcohol license.
Oh my goodness gracious! Before we get started, I got to run through a couple of these real quick. If Bad Dog said that he is grasping at straws, that was just plain stupid. He actually said it on Twitter. Todd Taylor says early in his career, but if he cranked it up, he had 15. He'd be at 5 so far. That's in Kayvon Thibodeau. Kevin wants to. Do you still have the Kayvon Thibodeau song? Which Kayvon? We have 2 Kayvon Thibodeau songs.
You have a Kayvon Thibodeau song?
We have 2 Kayvon Thibodeau songs.
I was not aware of this.
Jazz hands.
I gotta come up with something. The old life thinks I'm nothing. If I only had a sack.
Oh my God.
And then we have the one we made for James Williams for his birthday.
Hey kids, look over there. Who is it? It's Kayvon, the friendly pass rusher.
The friendly pass rusher.
So we actually have two of them, Kevin. So
Is that off of like Frosty the Snowman?
Yes, that was my inspiration for that. Was Frosty.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's go through this really quick. Let's see.
I
Mike
might start calling them the BFG.
The BFG.
Also
on the pass rusher
Kate,
with an almost close to a sack.
We're
He gets the rush and he hits the ball and he gets Saul out of whack.
I'm sure you can rhyme rush with brush off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch this. Brushed him off. Sorry.
I just got here.
Damn,
That's twice.
That's
twice in 10 minutes.
We're gonna mute this too. Davey said you also have to replace Saquon Barkley as your favorite player with Eric Gray. Diaco says for the Giants, the face of the would have to be Graham Gano. Rob, quick question for you. We were talking about if Saquon Barkley gets traded, who then is the face of the franchise?
If Barkley gets traded, oh fuck.
If Barkley gets traded, if we go 1-5 right now,
yeah,
if Barkley gets traded, who is the face of the franchise? My theory,
probably Kayvon is who I think they would push.
My theory is because you know how you have the two quarterbacks on like the displays for the NFL. You know, Josh Allen
for like the Sunday Night Football, like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
My theory was this: if you trade Saquon, you just have Josh Allen, and then you take a picture of Andrew Thomas's ass as he's bending over on the line, and just put it right there, and leave it like that, and that should be what it is.
The face of the franchise has to be your biggest offensive weapon, so it's got to be Graham Gano.
Or it's
yo, can you wait? Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine just for a second if they were hyping up a Sunday Night Football game and they put Graham Gano holding his pads and it's Kayvon, like when they do two, it's fucking Graham Gano like this. Can you imagine that? Like, no, but I think it'll probably be like, because I just saw it. I don't know if like they did it like on purpose, but like I saw a Sunday Night Football advertisement with Kayvon being on it. So like I think they would push. I forgot what game I was watching. Maybe it was the Thursday night game. When I was watching the Thursday night game, they were talking about it, but they had Kayvon there as the advertisement. It was Josh Allen, and then it was Kayvon. So,
and Dom is right.
Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Sorry, Dom sent me a private message.
We're 3 for 3.
Dom just sent me a private message that said Rob has to go for the Wonka record. So, that's the number.
Technically said Rob was on for the Wonka record.
Oh, you were on for the Wonka record. That's just. Sorry.
What did I break the record for?
Well, the Wonka record is how many times.
Think you gonna get it?
He didn't get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Usually when you get Wonka or I'm mad at you in the chat, I Wonka your ass. Well, and I Wonka Dom all the time. So you
did what to my ass? Pause.
You got.
That's what she said.
Wonka. All right, but let's get
best off you've had in a while, Rob, though, isn't it?
I got someone else that's going to come in a minute, so I'll have you shut up while I get around these things. Mike Lee says, Tim has the real photo of Rob's man cave with the altar to Bobby Johnson, his true love. We got James Williams dropping in with Kayvon, the friendly pass rusher. We got G-Man saying the Daniel Jones fanboys are hoping Tyrod Taylor don't win and make DJ look bad. If Tyrod Taylor, for both of you, if Tyrod Taylor comes in, puts up, let's say he still lose 35-17. But let's say, for argument's sake, he throws for, I'm going to start with Dom. He throws for 300, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and maybe 20 yards rushing. And this offensive line tonight is probably going to be the worst personnel that we have put out there vis-a-vis injury. Dom, what happens then? What happens on, and then let's say Daniel Jones is healthy for Washington.
And it's 2 things, right? Firstly, just because you're better than Tyrod Taylor, he's 34, man. Like, it's not exactly saying a lot, is it? But secondly, if Tyrod Taylor puts up those numbers, he has to start against Washington. He does. It's just right signal to the team. You play well, you keep your roster spot. It's got to be.
Rob, 300, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, another 20 yards rushing. They still lose 35-17. Do you start Tyrod Taylor in Washington at home if Daniel Jones is healthy?
I think it depends on like how well the offense is like moving the football. Like if there seems to be a little bit more chemistry with some of your playmakers and he's able to get,
Well,
guys involved.
If you threw for 302 touchdowns, there's already more chemistry that we've seen.
Well, I mean, like,
Are we on
not
Breaking Bad again?
What's that?
We're already bad.
Yeah.
with this chemistry
well,
talk.
I get what I was meaning by that is like, okay, so in your point differential, not to be picky, right? But 35-17, maybe a lot of those came in garbage time, like those yardage, right?
No, I'd say it all came in the first half.
If it all came in the first half, if I would say, yeah. I mean, like you probably would have to definitely start him again. And I wouldn't say even if he was healthy, I'd say they probably played off like he's still nursing it. They want to take it easy with Jones. But yeah, I mean, you'd have to play him next week.
You're right. Though. That will be the narrative around it. If that happens, that DJ's still nursing an injury, they won't want to say he's dropped 100%. If that would happen,
I had to wonky you for a second, because I know Rob loves being next to the poppycocker skirt. So I had to change the screen. I'm going to get to another person in here in a second, but we got Joe Rev saying, if Saquon is traded, does that mean Marichane are going to try to rebuild around Jones? For some reason, I think it's a big mistake. Rob, you and I talked about this, and Dom and I talked about this a little bit too. If you trade Saquon Barkley, are you really then planning to draft a quarterback next year? Because I think you and I both discussed the fact that having Saquon Barkley for a rookie quarterback in 2024 would probably be a good idea, considering you could just tag him again and only pay him $12 million.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, I see avenues for both ways, right? And we talked a little bit about this like on the spaces yesterday, not mine, it was somebody else's. Like even if Barkley gets traded, they could still maybe like bring in like a cheaper running back, because I think the tag next year is like $12 million. If I'm not mistaken, for running backs.
Yeah.
So you might be able to bring in a guy on a 1-year deal or maybe a 2-year deal, like on a Miles Sanders contract where he's getting like $5 million or like $6 million, which is less than that, to give you a little bit more wiggle room. I don't know who's available. I know there's some big names available, but I know that they could potentially do that. And the other thing too is we were also talking about, I know this is not a part of that, but I think that Jones is going to be gone too. I think what they'll end up probably doing is restructuring his deal for his cap hit next year to lessen it, not taking away from his guaranteed money, because I don't think that they can do that.
You can't take away
but I think that they'll change his cap hit next year, because his dead cap hit I think is like 69.3. His base is like 35. So maybe if they like lower his base a little bit.
The question is this: if you do that, where are you putting that money? And I already know the answer. And you already increased it from 18 to 22 in 2025.
I think it would probably more than likely be on the back end or in 2025, because I think it has to be. Yeah. Because in 2025, I think they have like $130 million in cap space, but they only have like 35 players under contract. So at that point, I'm thinking, well, you got a quarterback under a rookie deal. You don't really have a lot of these high commitment, I think at that point, their big time contracts will basically be in Andrew, Dexter. I think that's really going to be it, right? So they're not going to have any other big time contracts unless they're signing free agents that they're going to have to account for. So I think that they'll try to lower his cap value next year, I think they'll probably try to lower his base salary to make him either tradable to where a team would take him on, or where they would cut him and maybe they save $5 million or $10 million on the dead cap side if they just cut him. So I don't think trading Saquon means or doesn't mean that they're moving on or not from Daniel Jones.
I think this is a great point here from Zach Attack, the official associate producer of Online Big Blue Sports Media. Tyrod Taylor, 4 drives, 130 yards. DJ, 3+ quarters, 110 versus Miami.
Yeah, I mean, that's big. Like if that were to happen, Zach, I mean, like you're talking about him basically getting the production that he got in 3 quarters against Miami against Buffalo, right? So, well, I think Tyrod's going to be going out there and he's going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, right? Playing his former team. I think this is the first time he's played the Bills since he left, right? Yeah, so he's going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And look, we talked about this just yesterday or the day before, Tim. Like the team looked a little bit more enthusiastic on the sidelines and on the field when Tyrod came in against Miami. They looked a little bit more upbeat on the sideline. They looked like they were running with some purpose. And the thing is here, like when we talked about this in the spaces, the team's energy is based off of Saquon. He's the one on the sideline getting the team riled up, getting everybody going. Like
him and Sterling Shepard.
Him and Sterling Shepard, correct. Now, Sterling obviously has a lesser role this year. So, I feel like his leadership role semi-diminished, right? But Saquon is the guy that they look to. Like the demeanor of the team is off of Saquon. And right now with him not playing, you need that guy that's going to, get that team going. And maybe Tyrod is that guy. Maybe just because it's a new person, it's a new name, it's a new face under center that they play hard, so we'll see what happens.
Not to interrupt you, but Dom, you said you had to leave at 3:45.
Yeah, so I've got about 5 minutes, but just real quick. I think there's two things. I think Rob's right. There are a lack of real characters on this team to sort of, fire them up. And I do wonder about the challenge to each other in that locker room, about how they get the most out of each other. I don't know, but I get that sense that is a potential problem for us. But on the Daniel Jones contract, I don't see them pushing money. Shane hasn't done it the whole way through, even though we've been in cap hell. I get what you're trying to say there, Rob, but I think if you draft a new quarterback, it gives you the two options, doesn't it, really? You can either play Daniel and sit the new quarterback to learn. I mean,
you could bridge
Daniel, maybe. Or yeah, exactly. And it would be a bridge. And then, move on from him because your cap hits low.
I literally dropped the Super Bowl ring when you said you use Daniel Jones as a bridge. Okay.
Or secondly, you use Daniel to back up a new quarterback.
What you
and I think that's what you
when the rush comes, look at it, hold on to the ball too long, and then fall down.
Yeah, but the thing, Dom, is like if you take a quarterback and like right now, the way we're on pace, right? If we continue on this pace, I think, Tim, you brought it up, like you see maybe 2 more wins, possibly, the Raiders and I forgot the other, and the Patriots, right? So if you finish with 3 wins, then more than likely it's like you're a top 5 pick, right? So if you take a quarterback in the top 5, you're not going to sit that quarterback. That quarterback's going to start.
We get 3 wins. We're a top 3 pick. Before Dom leaves, I want to drop in someone before you leave, Dom. Because I do get a couple. Keith's been hanging out. We have Keith, the War Zone, also been hanging out. Keith, are you there?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. You're on with Dahmer from the UK. We got R0B hanging out. Keith, of course, if you don't know, started doing a lot more giant videos. He's also known as Keith the War Zone. He's going to come in and ask us some questions today. He's got a little bit of a segment he wants to do, but I wanted him to get into the opportunity to say hello to the Dahmer. And before the Dom has to shuffle on back off to Stockholm or wherever there's a city in London. Sorry.
He's got to go
Dom,
to
what's up, Dom?
Stockholm.
Man, it's really good to hear from you.
Hey, Keith, how are you?
Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Good to communicate with you for the first time, seriously. And I really enjoy your content along with Online Big Blue, as well as Rob. I really enjoy you fellas. I really, really do. I seriously.
Much love to you, brother.
Religiously listen to you fellas. And y'all all be spot on. So serious.
Well, with the niceties out of the way, Dom sucks, Rob sucks. I'm the only one that's on. So let's just say it like it is, as Dom is looking around saying, "Honey, do I have to leave, honey, dear?
Do
I have to go now? Give me 5 more minutes, baby. I promise." We weren't making fun of you.
That was my daughter. I actually only heard, "Give me 5 more minutes." That was my daughter, by the way. So I do have 5 minutes, literally.
5, Keith. He's got 5 minutes, and I know you wanted to come on and do a little segment where you asked some questions, some pertinent questions for the panel here, and I kind of wanted to start that off with the Dahmer, since he is going to be he's got to shuffle on out.
Okay, Dom, do you feel like our last game that we had, what was our last game? Against the 49ers?
Last season.
Miami.
We haven't been in any games this year.
Miami.
Touche, Dom. Touche.
Dom only got a zinger.
It's been so bad he forgot about the Arizona game. It's been so bad.
That was half a game, Rob.
That was right. He's like, wait, wasn't Arizona? Didn't we play him last year? Was that when we played Arizona? Oh no! Oh, that was this year. Oh man!
All right, let's ask the question. Dom's only got a couple minutes.
Sure.
Let's stay on
So,
focus.
Dom, do you think when Tyrod Taylor entered the game, you've seen the team starting to percolate a bit more, alluding to with Rob the point that Rob brought up earlier?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, they looked more confident. They looked like they had different options, and we could throw the ball a bit better. When we were releasing quicker, Tyrod looked better. And it did seem to lift the team slightly, which is a worry when your backup quarterback comes in and lifts the team. But yeah, Rob was spot on.
I also have a question for Big Online, Big Blue.
That would be me.
How do you feel?
Just call him Tim.
How do you
Rob,
feel?
Sir.
I kind of like that. It's kind of catchy. Online Big Blue is kind of catchy.
It
And
is.
so online, how do
Yes,
you
sir.
feel when the offensive line was in the game, when Daniel Jones was in the game, the last game, and when Tyrod Taylor entered the game for that brief stint? Even though they didn't score a touchdown, do you feel like the chains were moving? Do you feel like the team was just this? Did you feel a different sense when Tyrod came in?
Zach Attack put it best in the chat. He said Tyrod Taylor 4 drives, 103 yards. Daniel Jones 3+ quarters, 110 yards versus Miami. I do think that, to Rob's point, there was a little bit of life. There was a little bit of enthusiasm. There was a little je ne sais quoi. There was everyone being ready to go out there. And I don't know if it's because of the fact that you usually rally behind your backup quarterback. Because Daniel Jones went out of an injury, but there was a little bit of life on the New York Giants sidelines and on the field. I think the play calling, and Rob and I talked about this, was a little suspect at times, because I don't understand, on 3rd and long you ran consecutive draws with Eric Gray. And that was a little perplexing to me, because you were still down, but you had 2 timeouts. You were 5 minutes left. You were still down by 2 scores. You were towards midfield. And for some ungodly, unknown reason, I know you were trying to take advantage of the defense that first time, but it reminded me of victory formation twice in a row with Joe Judge. I mean, it just, you need to.
We're saving that for the Patriots game, just as a homage to.
We're doing the homage to him, so we're going to do that. But like I said, I saw some life. Can that life carry over to Buffalo? I don't know. I hope. My biggest fear is this. I hope Tyrod Taylor survives Buffalo.
I mean,
I don't want to see Tommy DeVito.
I've genuinely
Tommy D.
I've genuinely got to go, but I mean, let's be honest. Tyrod Taylor is not the Messiah. He's not going to.
Right. Can I ask you, Rob? I have a question for Rob.
Fire away, sir.
Rob, do you think if Trevor Lawrence, quarterback of the Jaguars, was placed behind the same offensive line that the New York Giants have right now, the team would be more confident and we would be given more production than we are right now?
I do. I would actually compare it to, say, like what the Minnesota Vikings are right now, right? Minnesota Vikings, same record, 1-4. They've been in games, but they're able to produce points, produce yards, move up and down the field. I mean, they were toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs last weekend. It came down to the final drive, right? So I think what you get with Trevor Lawrence is Trevor Lawrence can read the field quickly. He's not afraid to take some shots. He throws in anticipation. He'll take the whole shots. And the biggest thing is he takes chances when he's given the opportunity. Like, there's no question that the line has been putrid for the New York Giants. It has been. There's no question or no doubt about that. But when the line holds up, if you run 65 plays in a game, if you get 20 plays or 15 plays where the line holds up, right? You got to make the most of those opportunities. And unfortunately, in some of those instances, Daniel just doesn't take advantage of those opportunities. And more times than not, holds the ball too long to where he creates a sack or he creates a turnover. and he does more damage to the drive or to the team than he does good. So yeah, I mean, I hear, and to kind of further elaborate on your question, everybody says, oh, well, we're going to get an opportunity to see another quarterback in this offense behind this offensive line on Sunday night. Well, if people are going to be using Tyrod Taylor as the bar here to determine whether Daniel Jones is the problem or not, again, I said this on Tim's show the other night. Tyrod is not a franchise quarterback. He never was a franchise quarterback. He's a great veteran that's been in the league for 13 years, that has the ability to read the field, make throws, take hole shots, and he's a down-to-earth veteran. Trevor Lawrence is a franchise quarterback. He has the possibility of being a generational talent in the National Football League. And so I think there's a big difference there, right? So yes, I do think that if you added Trevor Lawrence onto this roster behind this offensive line, I think that this offense would probably score more than the offense hasn't scored a touchdown in the first half yet. So I definitely think we would have scored in the first half in multiple games. And some of these games would have been a little bit more competitive, right? So I'll say yes.
I'm gonna have to say goodbye, but really quickly, I think the example I would give of the best quarterbacks being able to do it behind a poor line was Joe Burrow a couple of years ago, taking him to the Super Bowl. That line wasn't great either.
That line was
poor. They were there.
Shit, 2011, Dom, we had the 32nd ranked offensive line, and Eli went to the Super Bowl and won it.
Right.
Dom,
Exactly.
do you have anything final to say before you drop off?
No, that was going to be my final point, but thanks for having me. Really good fun. Thanks for the questions. And Rob, nice to see you again, despite the fact you look like a minion with that hat on.
Thanks, buddy.
It's even got an M on it. Tim taught me to be horrid.
I love it because Dom is typing me in the private chat, and I love it because you can
see it too, right?
No, Rob, you can see the private chat.
Are you Duke of Funk?
Yeah,
he's the Duke of Funk.
He'll explain. I got to go.
All right, Dom. Dommer's out of here. I appreciate it, Dom. Thank you for dropping in. Dom is
out. Easy, Dom.
Bye. Bye all.
Salute.
Dom is sitting there and he's typing this stuff in the private chat, and I let him know. Like I said, it doesn't pay to be my friend. So I let him know. Good point, Dom. And then I followed it up with like the one on your head. So he should have known better. He should have known better what's going on there. Keith, you got another question? Because I'm gonna have to drop you off because I'm getting a little feedback on my board here from your mic, and it's causing a distortion.
Is it? Okay.
It's okay. No, it's okay. But like I said, because I got to talk to Rob for a little bit because I got to get out here early today. But you got any other additional questions?
We might have lost him.
Yeah, I'm getting all this distortion. No, I mean you're coming in and breaking up every 15, like every other word.
Right now, do I sound good to you?
You sound better now. But do you have any other questions so I can chat with Rob for a second?
Sure. So now, as far as Brian Daboll, his most recent interviews that he has been conducting, do you feel like, Tim, this is for Tim, both of you, but Tim first. Tim, do you feel like Brian Daboll even likes Daniel Jones? And I'm not speaking as a person, but as a franchise quarterback. And why I ask that is because a few games Brian Daboll left Daniel Jones in when the game was, we knew the game was over probably in the first quarter, and he left Daniel Jones in. We talking about 2 minutes left into the fourth quarter,
right?
And my thing is, normally when you want to protect your quarterback, and he has a injury history like a Daniel Jones, and which is not a toe stub or a finger prick. This was a severe neck injury. All right, that could have cost him.
Yeah, I'm going to answer this question right away because of the fact that I don't think him leaving him in was anything against Daniel Jones. I think if anything, your fifth-year starter, he should be in the game,
right?
Because he's making mistakes that a second-year quarterback makes. I think what is more indicative if Daboll truly likes Jones is what he says about Jones or what he doesn't say about Jones. We played the clip, I think when Rob was here last time, with him talking about Josh Allen and how Josh Allen makes you a better play caller and how you could drop Josh Allen into any offense and he would succeed. And you know how he loves Josh Allen and this, and he had this glowing review from Josh Allen, and you hear Daboll talk about Daniel Jones, and it's like Daniel Jones is our quarterback. I mean, I think it's more what he says about other quarterbacks. And he also did the same thing with Jalen Hurts. He had glowing reviews about Jalen Hurts, and you hear him talk about Daniel Jones. Well, Daniel Jones is our guy. Daniel Jones is our quarterback.
Right.
And it's like, I'm a little confused. You should be saying the same glowing endorsement for your own franchise quarterback and not that of your opponents.
Tim, I've never heard Daboll say anything glowingly about Daniel Jones. Have you?
I've heard him say things in training camp.
Okay.
I've heard him say it,
or after the season was over.
I heard him say that he's on time to meetings, that he helps old ladies across the street, that sometimes he gives up parking spaces, that he was directing traffic the other day. He also made sure he saved a puppy from a tree. Some wonderful glowing things.
Daniel Jones is a good Samaritan.
He's a good guy. You do hear him say that a lot. Daniel Jones is a good guy.
Yep. He volunteers to do crosswalk, maintenance for the kids at school during the day.
We do need that in New York, by the way. Them good Samaritans.
We do need some good Samaritans. Warzone, I'm going to drop you off because I got to get out here early today and I want to talk to Rob. But I do appreciate you coming on. Great questions. We're going to try to have Warzone on once every other week, so we can come back in and pick the brains of this wonderful panel.
Yeah, hey, y'all all have a great day. I'm
far from it.
Watch. Thank you.
All right.
Make it easy. Enjoy the games today and enjoy our game tonight as well.
Go find Warzone News
Go
Sport.
New York Giants. And my prediction, I'm 1-0, Tim. I predicted that we were going to lose with Daniel Jones against, I forget the team, but I predict that we're going to cause an upset today. Go Giants.
All right, go Giants. We got to love Keith. Keith always drops in some knowledge. Okay, Robert, we talked about this game before. We talked about it the other day. Let's see. Davey says, "Hey Tim, where are you going to be next week for the Skins game?" I'm going to be in F8. That's the parking lot, F8. You trust me, you literally can't miss me. It's very difficult. I love it because when people call me on the phone, they're like, "Where are you?" And then there was it was Mark from Barbados, was Mark Thompson, who's at the game, and I love it because he was trying to find us, and literally he's walking by us, and he goes, "Where are you?" And I go, "Turn around." He goes, "Oh, there you are." It's like, how the fuck did you miss me?
What if he was like right in front of you? Where are you?
Oh no, it was good because he was still a good 40 yards. He was still a good 40 yards away. And I love it because Dom came out of customs when I picked him up from the airport. And I love it because I was just standing there, and first this little girl rolled out with this little pink suitcase, and I thought that was Dom. Because I never met Dom. Imagine. And then I love it because then you see Dom.
What happened? Did you shrink on the flight? What?
I told him I love it.
Did your carry on? You had to shrink your carry
on. All I know is I find him, or he finds me, and we're walking back to the car. And I said, "Well, I didn't know if you're gonna see me." He's like, "Couldn't miss you." he's like the big door.
I feel like you'd be easy to spot. Like, if I just went to a game, I could spot you. But like, oh, there's Tim. Like, I wouldn't need to call. Like, I could see you.
You know what the funny, just a quick story, because this was funny, because we took Dom to the coaches club and onto the field, all that stuff when he flew in, and we were standing on the field, and Dom goes to me, "Hey, this cop wants to talk to you. These cops want to talk to you," and he goes, "They're inside the coaches club. They're waiting for you." Now, I don't know how it works in the UK, but if a police officer asks to see one of your friends, you probably don't tell them. You could probably tell your friend, "Hey, listen, get the fuck out of here. The cops are here. They're looking for you." So, but Dom goes, well, I told him where you were. I told him where you were sitting. Told him this.
Yo, he sold you.
Out.
Oh, you're looking for Tim? He's right over there. Section 5, seat B. He's wearing this. He's got a black eye.
And then know what he tells him? He tells the cops, I'll send him in. So
he's an informant.
He comes back to the coaches club and goes, these two cops are looking for you inside.
I told him I'd bring you quietly. I told you you'd come without resistance.
And I'm looking at him like, maybe they do.
Oh my God,
maybe
dude.
they do differently in the UK.
Oh, bro.
The cops are looking for you. You don't rat out your friends.
Listen, Dom is a guy I would never commit a crime with because you get him in the fucking interrogation room. It was him. He made me do it. It was him. He'll sell you like fucking, where's the money? Oh, he buried it in his backyard of his grandma's house. It's in a tub. Please.
And I love it because, like a dumbass, I walk inside and there's these two cops just standing there. And I went up to the one guy and I said, I heard you looking for me. Thinking that I only had one beer, wasn't doing anything. And then he goes to me, are you online, Big Blue? And I told Dom when I got back to him, I said, you could have told me they were looking for me from YouTube, not that they were just looking for me.
Yeah.
But that's
dominant. When you get those locker room accesses, Tim, you have to stop sniffing the jock straps. That's why they were looking for you.
Let's see here. What do we got here? Forget the first half. The logic finds Giants offense have scored 2 touchdowns all season thus far. The Giants as a team have scored 3 touchdowns, one by the defense. Mr. Alvarez also comes in and saying Daboll does. I think Daboll does that to show Mara. No matter how long you have him in the game, he isn't that good. Do you really think that he's showing Daniel Jones up, Daboll, by keeping him in these blowouts?
I've got my suspicions. I honestly don't think. I think that Brian Daboll likes Daniel as a person. I think he thinks he's a good person. I think he thinks he works hard. He puts his best foot forward. I just don't think that he fits the mold of what they want or what he wants as a franchise quarterback. And I definitely think that John Mara had a huge hand in Daniel coming back. And I think that what he's doing is basically something that like a parent would do. They give you more responsibility and they let you show whether you can handle the responsibility or not. And unfortunately, he's not handling his responsibilities. And unfortunately for Daniel, technically he's not playing tonight, but it's been on 3 nationally televised games where there's no hiding from it. Like, so John Mara has to see this unfolding with millions of people watching on the television. And it's right there in front of your face, John Mara. So I think he's just doing it to prove, like, listen, I like the kid. He's a good kid. I know you like him. I know you see some resemblances here from a personality standpoint to a guy that, won you 2 Super Bowls. But I know a quarterback when I see a quarterback. And this isn't a quarterback. So I think he's doing it to show him, say, we need to go a different route. This isn't going to work. So now, as far as keeping him in the game to purposely like get hurt,
no, I don't think he's doing
I don't think he did that. But I do think he probably kept him in the game to teach him a lesson. Like at the end of for instance, back in 2004, preseason, mind you, Bill Belichick, they had the first team guys against a preseason game against the Cincinnati Bengals, and they beat their ass, the starting defense. Second team came in, played well. At halftime, he goes to his starting defense and says, you guys are playing the rest of the game because you guys played like fucking shit. And they got their ass beat again. So I think it was Brian Daboll saying, listen, you didn't play good. I'm not going to let you come out and escape and get a pass. You're going to go out there and you're going to play and you're going to get your shit right. And like, go out there and show me something. Show me something. And he didn't show anything.
You know what I liken it to, and a lot of people forget about this. In 2004, Eli Manning's rookie year, he played against the Baltimore Ravens, and Baltimore Ravens back in 2004 had championship defense. Some people say even a defense beyond. And Eli was having a horrid game, and Tom Coughlin wanted to pull Eli Manning and put in Kurt Warner. And Kurt Warner's told this story before. Kurt Warner said no, because he had already been benched for Eli Manning, and he wasn't being defiant in the fact that he's saying no because you benched me. He was saying no. And he said to Coughlin, I'll go in if you want me to go in, but I don't think I should go in because Eli Manning is going to be your guy. And he basically told Coughlin, at times in your career, you're going to take the lumps, you're going to take the beating, but you're going to learn for it. You're going to learn.
Let him build up his confidence.
And he kept him in. And now he had a horrible game against Baltimore. I think he completed like 8 passes, but he got wrecked. But they kept him in the entire game. Now the difference to me was Eli Manning was a rookie learning.
This is a fifth-year quarterback.
This is a fifth-year guy. And to Kevin's point here, his favorite line from Daboll was this about DJ is he's a smart guy. And I said this before, you could be a smart guy, you could be a nice guy, you could help out in the orphanage, you could help old ladies across the street, but I rather have an asshole who can read defenses.
Yeah.
That's what I would rather have.
Yeah. To me it like the whole thing with his comments, like that interview of him talking about Josh Allen, I think really just came at the wrong fucking time, And to me, it was somebody like trying to publicly say like, yo, this is a quarterback. Like, this is what you left me with. This is what you're making me use. And this is a quarterback. Because last year when we played the Eagles, the way he talked about Jalen. Now, again, there's this personal relationship there, right? Because he was with Jalen in Alabama, right? He was with Josh in Buffalo, right? But he talked about other quarterbacks like that too. And then I saw on the timelines when I responded to that, people say, well, the quarterback, the head coach always talks about the opposing quarterback like that. Okay. I've heard Matt LaFleur talk about Aaron Rodgers when he was with the Packers. Andy Reid talks about Mahomes. I've heard Kevin O'Connell talk about Kirk Cousins. I've heard Nick Sirianni talk about Jalen Hurts. I heard McCarthy talk about Dak. They talk up their quarterbacks. When you ask,
they don't disparage the quarterback that they're playing, but at the same time, they put their own quarterback more on a pedestal.
Yes, exactly. And then when he's asked about Jones, he works hard. He puts a lot of time in.
He's a smart guy.
Everything. He's a smart guy. He does everything we ask him to do. That's it.
See, but like, I don't think it's Freudian that he talked about Josh Allen the way he did. I think what happened was the person that asked the question got him at an honest moment. And he got him on a subject that he was with Josh Allen from Jump Street. It was, since the moment since he was in the league. So he got him, when he was a pup. And it was just the fact that sometimes when you are, even if you're a parent, and your kid does something well in school and someone asks you about it, you're not going to talk about what the other kids did. You're going to talk about how well your kid did it. And it's almost like, in some regard, Josh Allen is like his child, because of the fact that he brought him into the league. He helped cultivate him into the quarterback that he is now. And I think the press just caught him on an honest moment. But what I thought was telling, though, and we talked about this the other day, what was telling, though, is when he interrupted the other reporter's question to put in that last line.
He makes you a better play caller.
He makes you a better play caller. That I thought was a little interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. And the thing is, Tim, like when Dabes got here, the original questions that he was getting was, we saw what you did with Josh. What do you think that you could do with Daniel? Because the comparisons were the same, right? Similar skill set, stuff like that. People were trying to make those comparisons, and people wanted to know, okay, this is what you did with Josh. What can you do with Daniel? And when he talked about Josh, he kept it professional. Like, Josh is a special player. He has a lot of great capabilities, To me, this answer that he gave was almost kind of like a buyer's remorse answer, so to speak, if that makes sense. It was almost kind of him like an answer that you would give when you're missing something. You settle for something else and you're really missing, like, you left your girl because you thought this other girl was good, and when you're asked about your ex-girlfriend, you're like, you remember now all the things that you missed about her, so you start really talking up, man, I love the way she'd have a meal cooked for me, ready to go. She had my hot coffee in the morning, the way she brought me my mug, the nightgown she used to wear to sleep or whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's the way he sounded like when he was talking about Josh Allen. That's the way he sounded. And so to me, it just seemed really odd, especially like you just pointed out, you didn't need to interrupt another reporter and then look to the guy that originally asked you the question and say, and almost in a condescending voice, not to the reporter, but into the situation, he makes you a better play caller too. Like, to me, that was almost like a shot at like, oh, you guys are saying I can't call offense? Well, you know what? I can call offense. You saw it for 4 years. He made me a better play caller. Maybe you should question the play of the quarterback before you say that I can't call plays. That kind of deal. That's how I took it, to me personally. And so it's interesting. It's very, 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 very interesting. And I'm sure if I noticed it and you noticed it, I'm sure reporters had noticed it. There's one person that I'm sure noticed it too, and that's John Mara.
Oh, I don't know, John Mara. I don't know if he's the sharpest knife in the drawer. Frank S. says
that is also a very good point as well.
Frank S. says Jones is 100% Mara's call. Moet, I love this one. Your internet today is processing like Daniel Jones in the pocket. But you know what? I fixed the internet, and it didn't take 5 years.
No, it took 5 minutes.
It took 5 minutes. I fixed the internet.
Oh, man.
Let's see here. Zacatech says Daboll seems to treat DJ as Josh McDaniels treated Carr. In some regards, yeah.
Similarities. I think Josh McDaniels was just a dick to Derek, to be honest. Like, I don't think Dave's is a dick, but I get the comparison. It's very similar.
Mr. Belford, he concurs with you, Rob. He concurs. Frank S. also says Daboll is showing Mara he made him take that stupid contract. Don't be surprised if Daboll resigns if he doesn't get a rookie quarterback. There is talk, Rob, and I think it's only Twitter talk. And I'm not going to, I don't speculate on this, but there is chatter that if Daboll has a bad season, if he only wins 3 games, that he sees the writing on the wall, and there is a potential possibility that he may resign instead of ruining his head coaching career with the Giants. Any thought on that?
This is the first I'm hearing this.
I've heard it. It's been on Twitter a couple times, and actually it's been on. I heard it on a. I can't remember. Not NFL Network. I can't remember. I was watching TV, and someone mentioned that and they mentioned the fact, and they actually brought up said that I was Daboll and I go 3-13. I'm stuck with Daniel Jones another year. I'm resigning because I'm going to ruin my head coaching career.
I mean, look, I think in this regard, I think it really all depends. Look, I think we all know the situation with the ownership and how John Mara is heavily involved. And he said this year, I'm going to take a step back, and he makes all of these outlandish claims like it's all about whether the GM and the head coach are aligned, and I will do whatever they want to do as long as they are aligned in their decision. And I think behind closed doors, obviously, John Mara pushed for this Daniel Jones shit. And I think that if they go to John Mara, if they have a top pick and say, we need to reset at the quarterback position, and John Mara pushes back, and I think this is something where you're going to know you're going to have a top pick before the season is over. Right?
I think you're going to know by week 9.
You're going to know by week 9 if you're going to have a top pick or not, right?
Yeah.
This is something that before, probably once the season is over, they're going to go to John Mara when they have their interviews, and they're going to be like, we need to go forth with getting a new quarterback. And if John Mara pushes back and forces Shane and Dabes to go with Daniel another year, I could see that. Because at the end of the day, and this is kind of what I was talking about like last year when Shane and Dabes came in, and the talk was that part of the negotiation of Shane, like a handshake, was, I need you to give Daniel Jones an opportunity. And, I think that there was probably a conversation between Joe Shane and John Mara saying, well, I'm not going to pick up the kid's 5th-year option. I want him to earn his spot on this roster.
Now, Pimp named Slickback actually found what I was talking about, and I want to get to him. Right, not to interrupt you. I want to get to this because this is kind of what I was talking about.
Pull it up.
But I love this quick question right here. Going to the Bills game in a brown paper bag. Any advice what to write on it? Okay, this is Jonah. This is what you write on it. You write Online Big Blue Sports in the front. R0B sucks on the back. I'll be looking for that.
I would love that.
Remember, Online Big Blue Sports. Proud sponsor of Online Big Blue Sports. This paper bag. I would write, you know what I'd write on the bag? Just yikes. I'd keep it simple. But here's what it was. This is Pimp Name Slickback. I knew someone would come up with this. I couldn't remember where I was watching this. So Michael Lombardo said it. He said that if the Giants choose Daniel Jones over Brian Daboll or Shane, there's a red mark on the organization. No one wants to come here because they won't have a career. And honestly, this was my thought, Rob. And I kind of, when I heard, I was kind of like, I don't know about it. But then I think about this. Head coaching jobs are hard to come by. You have guys that flame out in a couple of years that never get another job in the league, head coach job. They get jobs in the league doing coordinators and things. And sometimes they don't even get a head coaching job in college. That there's 32 teams that you have head coaches, and the league understands that, Joe Judge to me is never going to get another head coaching job. Pat Shurmur never get another head coaching job.
I think he will. I think Joe Judge might.
I don't think he'll ever.
Maybe college. Not NFL, but maybe college.
I'm talking the pros.
Okay.
The McAdoo never getting a head coaching job again. And if you look at this, does Brian Daboll want to really be saddled with that stigmatism that he's another failed Giant head coach? And more than likely, he understands and knows that his opportunity to get a head coaching job again may be limited if he flames out of New York because of Daniel Jones. Because think about it. Daniel Jones basically killed Pat Shurmur's career. He basically killed Joe Judge's career. Do you want to have the quarterback killer or the career killer on Daniel Jones on your resume as you go out and say, if you go out again and say, hey, listen, I know I had 3 years in New York. I won one season, then I won 3 and 4 games that, collectively after that. But don't worry, it wasn't me.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility, man. You don't want to tie your shit to that, right? Do you want to be forced to do something? The way that Brian
was forced to do it. We're not saying,
of course not. Of course not. Look, Brian Daboll and Joe Shane came in here because they wanted to become the GMs of this organization. Like I was saying before, I think that there was a handshake agreement between Joe Shane and John Mara about Daniel Jones and giving him the best opportunity to prove his worth. And I think that Joe Shane said, I am just not going to forego giving him this opportunity. He has to earn it. Right. And then I think that Joe Shane thought, and I think that because they were very good friends, right? But I also, Brian Daboll had a very, very good track record, and Joe Shane saw firsthand with what he did with Josh Allen, that if anybody was going to get the best and the most out of a kid like Daniel Jones, it was going to be Brian Daboll. It wasn't going to be Ken Dorsey. It wasn't going to be Tierney. It was going to be Brian Daboll, right? So you bring in Brian Daboll, you give him the job. And again, Daniel did some good things last year. A lot of his deficiencies were covered up by Saquon Barkley and how well the run game was going. And that's just the facts. And then I think this past offseason, you saw John Mara get heavily involved. Not that we saw, but I'm speculating that John Mara got heavily involved in CC. He won us a playoff game, see what he was able to do, and influenced. The guy called John Mara during the negotiation period. You don't pick up the phone and call John Mara. So we were talking about this in the spaces. Barkley don't have that privilege. Dex doesn't have that privilege. Leo don't have that privilege. McKinney don't have that privilege. Daniel Jones called John Mara, and John Mara pushed that deal through. And now that you did that, and you're seeing the product on the field, if they go to John and say, look, we did what you wanted, it's not working. We need to go in a different direction and go now. We are not going to have another opportunity like this with this class, with this caliber of quarterback. There is a bunch of quarterbacks that you can get in the first. Drake May, Caleb Williams, Penix, and then there's guys in the second and third round. It is a deep quarterback class that you can get. We are not going to have another opportunity to grab a possible franchise quarterback like what we have right now. And if John Mara pushes back and says no, then at that point, you are putting my career at risk on how I'm viewed, how I'm judged, because I'm going to be looked at as a failure. I'm going to be looked at as a joke because my quarterback is not performing. I have a losing record. I saw what happened with Joe Judge. I saw what happened with Pat Shurmur. You're not going to do that to me. And he'll leave.
And that's kind of my question, because a lot of people, to your point, are comparing this class to 1983, which of course was Elway, Marino, Kelly, and a lot of people are also comparing this class to 2004, which of course was Big Ben, Eli, Rivers.
Yep.
So I understand I think it's going to be indicative if the Giants, let's say they only win 3 games. Let's just say that, and let's say, here's my question for you. And I don't want to get off the Daniel Jones topic because we have to do the guess the score thing as well. And I have a turkey in the smoker outside. I know the important things in life.
You know the delicious things in life.
I know. I know. It smells up the whole smells up the whole neighborhood. And I love it. The next door neighbor goes, I hate you. And I was like, well, there's a lot of reasons why.
You're probably when you smoke shit or you cook stuff, you probably Tim, hey, my oven just broke and we're hungry. Can you you shut the door, your doorbell rings again. You shut it, your doorbell rings. Your whole fucking neighborhood's coming. Come on in. Yeah.
That's why the guy next to me, he said he hates me because he's like, I hate opening the door. Because I smell that food. Because I hate you. And I used to have a smoker in the front of the house too. So sometimes I would have the smoker going down in the in front of the garage and one on the porch. And I swear to God, my wife would tell me she would come around the corner and you would still be about, I would say, like 50 yards from the house. And she goes, the whole neighborhood just smells like your food.
Great.
But here's my question for you about the draft next year and Daniel Jones. You talked about this the other day, and I have a question. If, let's say, Daniel Jones is shut down for the season, and let's just say they just say, you know what, you can't play the neck. We want to take the risk, not because of the win-loss, maybe it's also because of the health of the quarterback, but you shut him down for the season.
Yeah.
And the Giants only win their 3 games, which they probably would have projected to win if Daniel Jones was the quarterback. Since you shut him down, is that any indication that you are going to start him and play him in 2025 and not draft a quarterback because you're just shutting him down and saying, you know what, listen, we're not going to take any of this risk?
So you're saying like playing Jones in 2025?
Yeah, would that sit? No, in 2020. Yeah, in 2025. Is that any indication that you're going to play Jones? Excuse me, in 2024, that you were going to keep Jones and play him if you just decide just to shut him down right now? Maybe the injury isn't as bad as you think. Maybe he can come back and play, but they're just saying, listen, we don't want to take the opportunity. We don't want to take the risk. We're just going to shut him down in week 8.
No, and I'll tell you what, because there were reports. To me, there were reports, and I'm sure you might have seen these, where Joe Shane and them said they knew what they were going to do with Daniel Jones after the Week 4 game last year against Green Bay, where that was the game that they were sold on, that they knew that Jones was their guy. Well, then after 4 weeks of this season, you should be able to know that you made a mistake after 4 games this year, right? If you could figure out he was the guy in 4 games last year, you could figure out after 4 games this year that he made a mistake. And so if you have a top 3 pick and you have this quarterback class staring you in the fucking face, right? And you don't take a quarterback, you are committing, and Sal on lines, and a lot of people say this, you are committing malpractice as a GM malpractice. And I question you as a player evaluator, and I question it because you were in Buffalo. You had a guy like this in Tyrod Taylor, a guy that was a good player, not a franchise guy, and you moved on. He was given a 5-year contract prior to Brandon Beane and Joe Shane arriving there. They redid his contract, gave him a 2-year, $30 million guaranteed contract. You made it to the playoffs. You lost in the wild card, and you got rid of him. You moved on. You drafted Josh Allen. You brought in Nathan Peterman and some other guy, and you didn't even start him because you were going to go because he wasn't playing good. And then after like a few weeks, because I think Nathan Peterman had like a 5-interception game, you decided to move on and go with Josh Allen and let the rookie play. Okay. If you've seen what this kid can do for minus his rookie year, you saw what he was able to do for the next 3 fucking years that you were there. Okay. You saw him go toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes. You saw him win a lot of games. You saw them score a lot of touchdowns. You see his capabilities as far as how he could throw the football, how he commands the huddle. You know for a fact that if that guy went down, the Buffalo Bills are a shitty fucking football team. And Josh Allen is the engine and the oil, and he is everything that keeps that team afloat. You can't say that about the quarterback that you have now. So if they don't do that, I'm sorry, but Joe Shane is an absolute fucking moron and is a false. He is a fraud. I would even call him as a used car salesman, that he sold us all of this stuff and yet didn't do it. Now, on the off chance that they do it and he resets it the right way, because I'm going to hold some faith that you know what you need to do, right? Jones is done with the Giants because, one, you spent 5 years here. You had a rough time here. The GMs, whatever, horrible time. You got your ass kicked for 5 years. You got ridiculed by the fans. Everything, right? You were not automatically going to go and play backseat to a rookie quarterback. You're just not. And I get it. He walked into that meeting and he asked for $50 million and he wanted that, right? That's because he wanted to get paid, probably replenishing the ass kickings that he took 4 years in a row, right? From this offensive line. And obviously you want to get paid. Players want to get paid the most amount of money that they can get paid. There is no question in my mind. If they draft a quarterback, Daniel Jones is going to want out of the New York Football Giants, because you're not going to roll this guy out there, play 4 or 5 weeks, and then bench him and have him ride the pine pony while the rookie quarterback comes in. It was different. And I mentioned this the other day on the show with you. Eli Manning was different. Eli Manning won you 2 Super Bowls, right? He was a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Eli Manning understood the writing on the wall, and he was in year fucking 18 of his career. Like, he knew where it was, or 16. He knew where shit was going. right? He knew where it was going.
So I understand. Let's get off that because, like I said, I don't want to get into that right now. I was just curious on that answer but let's get into the chat because I do have to go and I want to make sure we get in the guess the score. And I got some people going on. Mark Hernandez,
we have talk about Bobby Johnson today, so you gotta be proud of me. I didn't bring up Bobby Johnson.
Mark Hernandez, who we haven't seen in a while, says, "What's up, guys? Let's go G-Man for a win today." Let's see here. Strider says, if the Giants take a quarterback after this season, I'm fine with that. 5 years of Daniel Jones has been too long. It's all DJ's fault. Sometimes you just have to move on. Sometimes you do just have to move on. J-Fed says, Giants draft O-line them in this year, not drafted quarterback. Same year they pay him. Yeah, I'm not saying anything about that. What does Chris have to say? Chris says, and there's Mara out for the DJ thing. Well, the online was injured and terrible. Mara will never give in. I do worry about that a little bit. Zach Attack is also saying we got 18-6 for the Ravens with 2 minutes left. T-Brad says, if Taylor gets 2 touchdowns, should seal Danny Crimes era. I don't want to say this, Rob, and I hate to say this. No, I don't. I'm lying. I hope Tyrod Taylor goes out there, puts up 250, 3 touchdowns. He'll probably get killed in the process because even Carl Banks says, Tyrod Taylor maybe it's just better at running for his life. But I hope he does because I want to end this argument. I want to end this argument that I want a 35-year-old quarterback to come into this game against the Buffalo Bills, who has a good front seven with a horrid offensive line that really nobody's playing, and put up 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. I want Tommy DeVito to replace Tyrod Taylor at the end of the game and put up another 150.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like I think that Tyrod, look, I don't think that Tyrod is a better football player, right, than Daniel Jones as far as like throwing the football, right? Like just his arm talent. But Tyrod to me is a faster and better processor of the game. And I think that that's going to work into his favor. And you're going to see somebody behind center that is going to understand down and distances, is going to understand how to read defenses, shift protections, adjust coverages, read coverages, take the shots. That's what you're going to get. With Tommy D, you're going to get a kid that's going to go out there and he's got nothing to lose.
Right.
He's got nothing to lose other than just going out there and playing the game of football. And he's probably going to play it without a conscience. He's just going to go out there and he's just going to play. Right. So I'm excited to see this game tonight because I want to see, and I said this before, I want to see what this offense is capable of. I want to see Wandell. I want to see Hyatt. I want to see Waller. And I believe the word is Saquon Barkley is making his return tonight.
He's going to try to play.
He's going to try to play. And so at the end of the day, man, this is it. I understand Thomas is out. I get all of that. And the offensive line this is going to be it. Now, I'm not, if this fails, I'm not going to say, oh, well, because Tyrod couldn't do it, then nobody could do it. See, it's Daniel Jones. It's not everybody else. It's not Jones, it's everybody else. No. But I'm also going to be like, but if Taylor has success, I'm going to be like, see, you need to get a younger, better player that can process better, right? Because either way for me, Taylor is not the guy for me, the bar or the line, either way. But Taylor right now can prove fucking Omega. But Taylor can prove today that with a competent quarterback that can read defenses and process the game quickly, which is what Tyrod can do. He's been in the league for 13 years with a quarterback that can process the play and everything like that quickly, how different that the game will be. And the last thing I'll say is this, because you asked me this question a couple of days ago. Will the offensive line play better? I don't think the offensive line will be better as a whole. Like, I don't think they're just going to, Tyrod's playing, and they flick a switch. But I think with the play of Tyrod, you're going to see the offensive line
look better
because they're not going to be so much. He's not going to hold on to the ball so much that they have to hold the blocks for that long.
We talked about it with Kurt Warner in 2004. Kurt Warner was sacked like 28, 30 times, the short period of time that he played. And Eli Manning came in, played almost the same amount of games, and took half the amount of sacks. And it wasn't because the Giants passed less. It wasn't because Eli Manning was a better quarterback than Kurt Warner. It was the fact that Eli Manning got the ball out quicker. And he read his defense. He went to his read, and even though he was bad at it, he still got the ball out quicker. The offensive line didn't get better. It's just the quarterback decided to speed up the process of making the play, and I think that's exactly. We're gonna go into now first of all for Omega.
Autobots, roll out. We roll.
Let's do guess the score. We're only at 40 something likes. Get up to 50 likes before we get it. Put your scores in. Let's see who's going to win that Eli Manning replica Super Bowl ring. We already got a couple scores in. T-Brad's going with 42-17, the Bills. We got Joe Rev coming in, Giants 34, Bills 26. Omega Supremes coming in at Bills 32, Giants 14. Let's see what I had a couple other ones that I know that I missed. So make sure you drop in your score. We're going to do it for 3 minutes. Win the Eli Manning replica Super Bowl ring. We are still trying to give one away this year. We got Mike Lee coming in, Buffalo 38, Bills 24. Tyrod Taylor 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Mike, if you get that right, I'll send you an online Big Blue prize pack. Jeff Newman comes in with 37-13 Bills as well. Strider also says 5 years of DJ Tim. Man can't read his progressions, go through his progressions quickly, stares down the number one wide receiver. Too long. You've said it for years. DJ lovers just can't see it. They can't, but that's fine. Let's see. We got the scores coming in fast and furious now. Not talking Vin Diesel. Stanley 42-39 Giants. Scotty's got Giants 26-34 Bills. We got Jonah coming in 33-9. I think he's probably, since he's going to wear the bag on his head, I'm assuming that's going to be Buffalo. Excuse me. Bills 31-27. We also have Mr. Showcase coming in. Bills 34, Giants 10. R0B, what a dickhead. 41-27 Bills. Sorry, you don't qualify. You're on.
I know. I'm just putting I just wanted to partake.
Okay. We got Strider coming in, maybe saying 23-20 Giants. Maybe we got. You know what's interesting, and maybe it's just people going crazy. And I'm gonna get to everyone else's score in a minute. I think maybe people going crazy. I'm seeing a lot more people choosing the Giants this weekend than I saw versus Miami.
I think it's due to the fact, and I was actually going to hint at this like just now. I think it has to do with the injuries on Buffalo, right? We talked about this last night or the night before. Their front line is pretty good. Like their front seven is good.
They got
their back end is very decimated right now.
Yeah.
And it can be had. And if you can control the line of scrimmage a little bit with Barkley being back, maybe you can get the running game going a little bit. And then with Tyrod being able to take some shots, if they are able to control the line of scrimmage or at least keep it respectable, I'll say that, to keep it respectable, then I think the Giants could potentially maybe pull an upset. Because I think that Tyrod could maybe take advantage of a weekend, or not take advantage, but be aided or have assistance by the Bills' weakened secondary, right? And the reason why these last couple of weeks the Bills' secondary hasn't been looking as bad is because their front seven is able to get pressure. We talked about this. They lead the National Football League in successful pressures right now, some crazy astronomical percentage. It's like 40% or something like that, almost 50%. So it's crazy amount. If the offensive line can somewhat be respectable, then maybe Tyrod can take advantage of that weak defense, a defensive backfield.
All right, let's get to these scores. We only got a minute left for the scores. We got Strider coming in 23-20 Giants. We got Glenn coming in Giants 35, Bills 32. Online Big Blue Sports 157 Bills, Giants 8. We got Christian Fernandez coming in 30-27 Bills. Actually, I'm picking the Giants to win again today. And I know, yeah, 24-21 Giants. I'm going to put in the chat 24 Giants, 21 Bills.
Look at you, you scumbag, or whatever you called me when I put it in the chat.
Why? You didn't notice I put another one in the chat and I even read it. That's how much. I think the hat is,
157 to 8 Bills.
and I even read it out loud. I think the hat is affecting your hearing.
It is.
I even go, all my big plays 157 Bills, Giants 8. Here's why I'm thinking the Giants are going to win. Because this is just the Giants. You go back the last 5-6 years. This is just the Giants. There is no chance. There is no opportunity. There's no godly football rationale or reason why this team should win in Buffalo on Sunday Night Football with a decimated offensive line, with a backup 34-year-old quarterback, with a running back playing on a bum ankle. There is no possible way the Giants should win this game.
Could this be Jeff Hostetler all over again?
This is just, there is no, because Jeff Hostetler was young.
I'm just fucking around.
This is Colt McCoy in Seattle.
Ooh, okay. I see what you're putting down.
And I predicted the Colt McCoy game. I got it right. The score, I was off by 1 point. I missed the Seattle score by 1 point. And I even said there is no godly explanation or reason why the Giants should go into Seattle against, the 12th man and Russell Wilson, who was actually Russell Wilson back then, with all these rookies, with a 47-year-old backup quarterback, that they should win this game. No running game. Wayne Gallman, who gets, Wayne Gallman, God bless his soul. I just wish he had some speed. He'd still be in the league.
Bro, I had somebody say that Wayne Gallman was better than fucking Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Wayne Gallman got pulled down from behind in Seattle. He gets pulled by behind his tiger. But there's no logical explanation for the Giants to win this game.
Which is why they're going to win it?
This is the ultimate false hope game. The Giants usually used to fall for that trap game after a big win, because then the next week they would get blown out by a team they should just destroy.
Isaiah Hodgins revenge game?
This is the Brian Daboll revenge game.
Joe Shane revenge game? Brian Daboll revenge game? Hodgins revenge game? Taylor revenge game?
This is the
Boogie
game.
Basham?
Boogie Basham. I forgot all about Boogie.
Boogie.
He's still even on the team. I'm glad we made that trade. I said
Do the
that
Boogie.
trade.
Oh, Boogie. Boogie Basham.
I said the only good thing about that trade when we did it was his name, because I want to just use Boogie for everything. I wasn't trying to be mean. I just didn't see any logical explanation for that trade. This makes no sense. This is the ultimate New York Giant fan false hope game. Giants go in there, they upset the Bills, thinking they're back on track, get Daniel Jones back in the game against Washington, and they go out and they put up a stinker at home versus Washington. I'm calling 2 games in a row. I'm calling 35-17 Washington next week. Think about that. Riddle me that, Batman. All right, everyone. As always, we're going to get out of here because I do have to go.
I was born in the dark.
I have to go rotate the chicken. Rob, any final thought before we head out here?
No, man. Appreciate everybody coming in and showing some love. Today, 46 likes. Make sure that you guys are sharing the video so that even I know we're about to end it here, but let's see if we can get that closer to 100 likes or more after the video is posted. Enjoy the games today. I will say this for anybody that's in the chat, that knows me or anything like that reached out, to me over the last couple of days. Unfortunately, I've been gone, but my dad passed away last Friday with a battle for cancer. He had prostate cancer for a few years, and then he developed a rare bone cancer and had a tumor on his brain. He had brain surgery. They got 95% of it out. They left 5% because it was wrapped around a nerve, and they were treating it with radiation. Unfortunately, the radiation wasn't working, and it grew back. And this was right around when my twins were born in June. And unfortunately, that was the cancer that took his life. So it was a week yesterday. 2 days ago on Friday. So the fact that I was able to come on with Tim that day was feeling a little bit down. So that was able to get me some good spirits to come on here and talk football with Tim on Friday. But to those who reached out to me, thank you. that showed love. I appreciate it. And just want to, spread awareness, for him, for cancer. Cherish every moment that you have with people that you love, whether it's your spouse, a parent, whatever it may be. Cherish every moment. If you have kids, every weekend, every Sunday, I make sure that I watch football with my kids. I want to have that moment. I want to have that time, especially, more now than ever, living here and moving and living in North Carolina while they were in Florida. I felt like I missed some, closing years with my dad, which he wouldn't want me to feel that way, but that's how I feel. And so just cherish those moments, cherish those times, enjoy those moments together. And I will not be rooting for any particular team week 9 when we play the Raiders. And I'll be rooting for the Raiders also for the majority of the season because my dad was a Raiders fan. And I will also not talk shit about the Cowboys because my dad loved the Cowboys as well. So I won't root for the Cowboys because I can't do that. But I won't talk shit about the Cowboys for the rest of the year. So, but thank you guys for anybody who reached out. And I appreciate it.
In honor of Rob's dad, week 9 against the Raiders, I'm going to root for the Raiders. I am going to wear all Raiders gear. Hell, I may pull out my George Blanda jersey. That's how old I am. And it'll no longer be online Big Blue. It'll be silver and black Big Blue online for one day, for one stream on Sunday.
You look good. You look good for your age, though, Tim. You age well. You age well.
At 98 years old, I age well. And I want to thank everyone also in the chat for throwing out their condolences for Rob. I know it's been a tough time for Rob, and in honor of Rob's father, as we're going to close out this show, and we're going to get the Buffalo win for him.
I'm raising the stakes right now. This is a poker game. I'm shoving my chips to the middle of the table. I'm raising the ante. Anybody wants in, get in. Anybody wants out, can get out.
Come on in for the big ride. This is Rob. This is Tim. This is Online Big Blue Sports Entertainment, bringing you everything Giant related. Look for that video on Monday, maybe a live stream on Tuesday. I want to thank Rob. I want to thank the Warzone. I want to thank the Daboll for coming in. And you know what, guys? Good luck to you tonight, and we are out of here.